This road is great. Barely any bumps going 45 miles an hour. That's the speed limit on this road. It's 45. They definitely did something right. It's been raining a lot, and barely any potholes have formed out here. The entire bottom half of the vehicle is brown from all the spraying of this mud. There's a few small potholes, but those ones are actually fine because you can hydroplane across them like nothing at this speed. As long as only one wheel is hydroplaning at a time, it's not going to make you lose control. But if I come to a giant puddle, I slow way down because that will throw mud and sand up inside the brakes and destroy them. What I'm doing now, not really. But still a good idea to clean them when I get back to the pavement. I got a little spray gun to do that with. It's a tank that I pump up with a few gallons of water and just spray them. Alright, now this road is not as good. I'm only going about 30. It's a little more bumpy. And I don't want to run over that middle section fast. So right now I'm stopping, slowing down, then moving over, because if I move over at a high speed, it's going to throw all this loose soil up inside the rotors. And I had rotors get destroyed once from that before, so they actually put some kind of off-road guard, but looking at it, I can tell stuff can still get behind it. It's mostly to keep big rocks, I guess, from getting jammed. It's a guard, but things can definitely get around. Now I just pulled way over because they have these trucks that are a wide load. They're not public street legal, but they use them out here. And when they're fully loaded, they weigh so much. Look at this rock. This has great drainage here. They build these big humps with feet of gravel on top of all their new culvert pipes. They don't put them in like they used to. They used to put them in with barely any dirt on top, and it would lead to failure in the same year, but now they're nice and deep. I remember the first time I came out in these woods a few years ago, probably half the culverts were in failing condition, but now almost every one has been replaced. Like this right here is another culvert pipe. See how they build it up with all this rock? These roads get really slippery fast as soon as this happens. But it's just a passing shower. I already see blue skies, and because they're dirt roads, they absorb the water pretty fast if they're built correctly. In like an hour, this mud will be completely gone and it'll start hardening again, except the low spots. Yep, the rain's already gone. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sunshine. You can see it stretching across the road, about to drive into it. They just regraded this. Where I'm driving right now, I'm keeping a steady 30 miles an hour. But if I drift just 2 feet over into this, like, soup. Oh, this is actually pretty high right here. That rut. I can feel it. I scraped a little bit, but it's like soupy, like toothpaste consistency. If I was to drift over like 2 feet, I would swerve out of control. So if I have to move out of the way of a vehicle, I got to do my braking in the middle of the road and then slowly move over there. For the past 2 miles, this road, it feels like you're driving through wet concrete. There's like 4 inches of it sitting on top of the solid surface. And some of these places you start fishtailing if you go over 20 miles an hour. Just got to take it really. Look at this culvert. This is one we checked in the spring, unclogged. But from all the runoff of the road, look how filthy it is. Looks just like coffee, doesn't it? A lot of sediment. Just down the street, we have a clog here caused by the grader. They did a great job making the road nice and smooth, but it blocked a portion of the entrance. Check out the other side. No issue. It's the color of coffee because it's running off the road, taking a bunch of silt with it. But right here on the other side, you can see the difference because they just replaced this culvert recently. The drainage ditch here compared to there. That's probably 10 years worth of sediment running off the road until the point where the edge is higher. It's sloped into the road, so the road washes out super easy if it doesn't have an adequate drainage ditch. It just rains, so this is on the downfall. But right here is the culvert, and you see there's a pretty good amount of blockage, and I'm happy to see this in particular logging company is using metal. They hold up so much better compared to the plastic ones as far as being crushed. The plastic ones deform in the ground as time goes on. These ones don't. They hold up considerably longer compared to a plastic one. These ones eventually rust out, but that takes like 50 years in this environment. While a plastic one starts, they're just not good for the environment or this type of insulation. So I'm just gonna see if we can move some of that out of the way. Because you see it just fell down from the top. Oh yeah, that's gonna be really easy. I can just move out this way. Oh, it's got stuck my foot. There, we just increased that a lot. Get these sticks out of the way because that will cause a jam if that finds its way into the entrance. Alrighty, that's gonna drop back a few inches. Let's go see how much it accelerated on the other side. Oh yeah, you can see the difference. You see how it just got darker? You definitely see the darker water coming out. And look at that, they built a platform right here for the excavator to ride on so it could dig out the ditch. And you can see from the storm, it's done eroding. You see the nice clean water starting to filter in. Because when it was pouring, it was eroding into here. But now this is the regular little stream that uses it. And it's quickly cleaning it up. Just look at a difference here. The clean water filtering in. That'll be clean again probably within the hour. All right. Check it out, a red road. This is nice. They use red shale rock on this entire road. I gotta say, now that it's getting dark, there are a lot of moose that keep walking across the street up here. This is actually the furthest north I've ever been in my life. Today we're at the northern part of the North Woods, close to the Canada border. Never been this far up. Today I was gonna hike Mount Katahdin, but we couldn't do that because I didn't realize you need a reservation, and on a normal year you can grab a reservation the same day, but they're booked actually for a few weeks, and they said it's very unlikely that you'll be able to hike it this week, so we're not going to do that. We'll come back some other year because Mount Katahdin is in a state park and they only allow a limited amount of people in there per day, and if the spots fill up they won't allow anyone else in because they don't want the roads and trails to become overused, and also the abundance of people will scare the wildlife away. That's why there's no motorcycles, no dogs, none of that stuff that makes noise allowed in that park. So right now we're pretty far up here. It says in the car, since we left the checkpoint in the North Woods, we've driven 192 miles, and that's just trying to drive north as much as possible. So to get back to the checkpoint I came in, it's nearly 200 miles back. Yeah, this is pretty far north. Even further north than the time I crossed the Canada border, because Maine is a lot further north than New Hampshire is. And, you know, like 90% of Canada's population lives below the United States. What that means is the northernmost states are further north than places like Toronto and Quebec, where most of the population is. Most of Canada is just dead. It's all forest or either useless land where the bedrock is too shallow for any trees to grow. I'm just gonna keep going until I see a sign that says border. Really nice. This road is actually smooth. I'm going about 40 right now on this. Very smooth. Haven't seen another vehicle in over 4 hours. I see some fresh tracks since it rained today. Looks like maybe 2 vehicles or someone pulling a trailer has been up here. That's about it. The roads are so smooth this far up because there's not much traffic. Because usually when there'd be a lot of traffic, the road would be much wider than what you're seeing from vehicles passing each other. Doesn't seem like there's much of that going on because there's grass growing over on the edge. The only reason it appears to be 2 lanes is because there's the space for it. And you're naturally just going to drive over there. Ooh, that kind of looks like chocolate milk. Going a little bit off the main arteries now, because this is supposed to be a shortcut. Looks pretty good, really smooth, this road. But you never know what might be down these kind of roads. A lot of them have broken bridges or something blocking them. But I'm gonna give it a try. It'll save me over an hour of driving all the way around. And it appears to be pretty good. Super smooth. Before it gets too terribly dark, I just stepped outside and put the off-road lights on. There's 1 on the hood and 2 on the roof. Can really light up the area. And that's beneficial because the headlights can only see directly in front of you, while these shine way off onto the sides, so you can see if there's some animal standing there. This road is going downhill fast. It's still very smooth, but I have to go slow because you never know, there could be a big rock in that grass in the center. Now it's opening back up a little. I'm gonna go until it gets really terrible, then I'm gonna find a place out here to sleep. I just went through an interchange and this road opened up again very nicely. And it's a real maze getting back. But my mind kind of works like a map, but I can definitely tell how people can get lost out here. Getting this deep into the forest from where I started, I've used 3/4 tanks, and I simply don't have enough to get back. If someone else did this and got lost out here, they just wouldn't be able to get out of here, and it's way too far to walk. That's why I bring a lot of gas cans with me. I have enough gas cans in here to fill up again twice. Now that looks really nice, that big crack of light all the way down there. Alright, I just came back out to another main artery, but on the map I'm not exactly sure where I am, but in my head I know the exact way back. But to make sure I don't miss this on the way back tomorrow, I'm gonna get out and I have some green spray paint I'm gonna put on a small rock on the side of the road, and that'll get my attention tomorrow. I have not seen a payphone in years. I wonder if this is just a joke or not, because I don't see how it would possibly be connected to anything. Is this thing a joke? Something down there's walking in the road. Maybe a moose. Pick it up. You don't hear anything, right? I just got 50 cents like it says. Does this thing actually do anything out here in the woods? No, it does not. It's a joke. And it stole my quarters. Yup. Quarters are gone. It's a joke. Should have known that was a joke. Because there should have been an operator.
Visit Indeed.com/credit and get 75.
There should have been an operator when I picked that up. Those clouds are really beautiful. Look at the amount of insects out here. There are so many of them in that light. What I noticed out here is most of the border crossings on these dirt roads are not manned. There's no employees at them, but there's a security camera, and there's also sensors like the highway has to pick up your transponder. I think that's for the logging trucks can go back and forth freely, but there's also a security camera, so if some unauthorized vehicle goes through there, they can like be alerted of it. And there's also the chance something like a bear could just walk by, and they have the camera to see what actually went by. Oh, we got a moose. Got a moose. It's looking back at us. You can see its eyes. Gone. Really tall grass down this road. Doesn't look like anyone comes down here. Really tall grass on this road. Just looking for a place to park for the night. This might be it. Alright, now I'm just gonna get out and inspect over to my right, because I don't know if there's a drainage ditch there or not. If there isn't, that's where I'm gonna park for the night. It looks like maybe one person drives down here a week. It's highly unlikely anybody would drive here, even if I just stayed here. But I gotta get over on the edge of the road just enough in case a vehicle did come, they could get by me. I gotta get out there and inspect. There is a drainage ditch, but it has been neglected so long. And look at this, I can literally park in the drainage ditch. It's like almost level with the road. And that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, there's enough room for people to get by. Just gonna stay here. That grass right there you're seeing in the front, that's a good 4 feet tall, but it's like nothing running through that. Got really foggy in here last night. We're trying to get that fog out of here by using the fan. Now we're pulling out, just filled up with gas. Got 2 more tanks remaining. Right next to this campsite, there's some pretty nice iron culverts, which are the most reliable. But as you can see here, there's a couple sinkholes forming, and that's from the river at this angle, smashing into the edge, getting underneath there, instead of actually being angled into the culverts. Yeah, just look at the steel on those. That is so thick, probably 2 inches. You can see when the water gets really high in the spring, you see it's digging between those rocks, causing that damage. There has to be a better buffer right there. Not a big deal yet. Let's look down. What do we got? Really nice culvert. This will be here in 1,000 years. The best type. Now this would be a great campsite because this is like 50 feet away. And this pool here is a perfect place to bathe and do laundry. It's been quite some time since this bridge washed out. Let's see what we have here. Can't even tell where the supports are, but you can definitely see where the road went through. Kind of unnecessary to have a second bridge here when there's a bridge right there. Actually, just a big culvert. We can go check a look at that. The water here is not supposed to be this high. It's supposed to be a little stream. But the beavers have made it into their nice pond. See, they got a beaver dam over here. By the looks of it, holding up 3 feet of water. And this is just fine. They're far away from the road, and they're not causing any issues. That beaver pond is a lot bigger than I could have imagined. Right here, the entire thing is coffee colored because yesterday rained, and that's runoff from the dirt roads. It hasn't settled yet, so the water's filthy. That beaver pond's all the way down there. As you can see, it's not even flooding up to the road here. No problem. This is really steep. And those are some big culverts. I'm not down there yet, but it looks like it's gonna be an 8 or 10 foot pipe. This is a very nice road. You can comfortably travel close to 60 miles an hour on this. Speed limit's 50 on this road. Oh, look at that, got some ducks. Got 2 good looking culverts. Yeah, that looks to be an 8 foot pipe. And yes, it's supposed to be crushed down like that because they want the water to be spread out. If it was perfectly round, during droughts, only the bottom of it would be flowing with a little trickle, and that would actually cause it to wear out faster. See how the bottom is rusting? It's nowhere near failure. It's got at least another 20 years or so. It's rusting on the bottom because during storms, rocks are wearing down the galvanization. Look at that log. That's how high the water gets in the spring thaw, to be able to leave that up there. Where I'm standing, all goes underwater. Okay, this is one of the worst paved roads I have ever been on before. And this shows you why really far up north, they don't pave the roads. The winter destroys them. So this is essentially just becoming dirt again as they keep grading it, slowly wearing down the asphalt. Constant freezing and thawing just destroys the road. There is pavement underneath all this sand, at least patches of it anyways. It's easier and cheaper just to grade it every year than having to keep repaving it. Now this right here is the problem with this road and why all this asphalt failed. It's because in the winter when it freezes, all these rocks underneath it get forced up through the pavement, making giant frost heaves every time it freezes. If they actually wanted to pave this and make it last, they would have to build up the entire road with porous material that can't hold water. And then they'd pave on top of that hump, and then they'd be fine. But that cost a lot of money, and barely anybody uses this road. So why not just keep it dirt?